If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you're going to keep getting. Today I kind of watched a little bit of Steve Harvey, and this resonated with me today. If I keep doing the same things over and over and over again, why am I constantly thinking that the result is going to be different? It's just like with my business. It's just like with when I was trying to get my master's. I kind of I basically try to keep teaching the same exact way. But then I kept expecting that the result is going to be different. Similar to what you guys are doing with your tests. You're watching videos, you're getting PDFs, you're getting advice from people that have nowhere in chance in hell to know what exactly you're going through. They have their situations and their views and their opinions, and you have yours. But no matter what, you don't want anything to stop you from what is your goal. So today, we're really going to just focus on just one problem. And we're going to break down that one problem, even though it's like a lot of multi-steps. But this is what I want you to do. It's great that you're coming here on TikTok and you're watching me, and I love it. But at the same time, is it really helping you? When you look at my videos, and of course, yes, some people will say, do you have a YT? And I'm like, yes, I do. I do have a YT channel, ACG Math Tutoring. It has tons of videos on there, over 300. But here's the thing, it's not consistent. It doesn't give you a whole lot of reassurance. And I know when you go there, you're going to feel overwhelmed, going to feel confused, and you just don't know where to start. So for those that are new, my name is Audrey Codner, and I'm the owner of Math by Audrey and ACG Math Tutoring. And I was a classroom teacher for 22 years, and then 6 years ago I decided, I need to get out before it cuts me out. And now I'm able to tutor kids and adults throughout the United States and also in Nairobi, Kenya and Cairo, Egypt. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to help you. Now, if you're a 20 plus or even a 30 plus person that's thinking about going back to school or feels like they have to go back to school in order for you to get whatever this math test is, be it the GED or any kind of high school equivalency test, the ASVAB to help you to go into the military, the ACCUPLACER, which will help you figure out what math class should they put you in if you're thinking about going to a community college, as versa, the TEAS test, and the HESI test. So no matter what, I don't want math to be the reason why you don't reach your goal. I don't want anybody to feel that, well, how should I put it? The way that you felt when you were a kid and you were first introduced to this thing called algebra. Now, if you're like me, I'm 53 years old, and the way that they taught math back then, there wasn't any, let's worry about how the kids will transition. Because when we were raised, the kids were supposed to be seen, not heard. We didn't care about your opinions. You did what you say, yes, mommy, or no, mommy. Yes, dad, or no, mom. Whichever. But now, you're in a situation, you're in a world that has completely transformed. And we're still changing and transforming. And you're wondering, well, that little kid that's inside me when I first did algebra, it's still here and it's still here. How do I heal? And how do you do it? It's just pass the damn test. That's it. So, what we're going to do is, we're going to really speak on this. And we're really going to talk about why you guys struggle with math. So let me show you a little illustration because I did extend it out a bit. So you've probably seen my video about the tree, but I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to tell you about the seed. And the seed is you. When you first started going to school, you had no say in what school you were going to. You had no say in what teacher you're going to have, and you had no say what was going to be presented to you. But no matter what the situation was, you were placed in some kind of scenario. Okay? So you had to be dealing with your environment. So no matter what, you're going to plant some roots. No matter what. Even if you were planted in rich soil, which gave you that nutrients, and then you'll be able to grow and expand in a way. You were in a classroom, you were in a district that supported their students, really cared about how you guys advocated for yourself. Or were you thrown in an environment that's just like rough clay, where you probably had someone that had to dig a hole just to make room to plant you in. But here's where all your foundation comes in. Depending on where you were planted also depends on how strong your roots are. No matter what, you're going to grow some roots. So with the roots, I like to think as your basic arithmetic. And that's what I'm talking about. You're adding, you're subtracting, you're multiplying, you're dividing, your fractions, okay, your percentages, even your decimals. All that stems from depending on your environment. Were you at a school that supported you? Did you feel like you were able to be heard? Did you feel like when you have questions you can openly ask them, or ask them at an appropriate time? Or were you just in survival mode? Because that will kind of affect how your tree goes. Okay? So as you transform, you're going to go into the next part, which is algebra. And algebra, that's depending on what's happening here in the foundation. So it depends on how strong you were able to get the arithmetic, how strong you were able to do your fractions and your percent. Because the stronger your roots are, the bigger and the stronger your trunk is going to be. So now you can do the algebra. Now you're able to get that guidance. But here's my thing, even if your roots are not that strong, you're still going to have a trunk, but it's going to be so small and fragile. So much that anybody could probably miss it, step on it, and then it will fall to the ground. But then we got to talk about the branches. All the different branches. So you have your geometry. You have your statistics. You have your calculus. Okay? And you have your trig. We can't cover these until you get to this. But this is what's different. Just because you were brought up in a struggling clay-filled environment doesn't mean you can't be transported to rich soil. We can easily take up and reroute ourselves somewhere else. That's the best part about life. So when you think you're stuck, you're not stuck. You just need a change of environment. You need a change of mindset so you can build yourself. Then you can understand. You can clear your mind so you can grow and understand the algebra. Now you can understand the other different branches of math. And then let's not talk about forget about the leaves. This is hilarious. I know. Bob Ross is rolling in his grave right now. Okay? So then you have your leaves, your understanding, your progress. But then don't forget about the fruit. Your fruit of your labor. Now you're able to take it. You're able to apply it. You're able to get that job, that career, whatever that you want. So I'm going to say this nice and clear. Do not, and I repeat, do not let a math test get in the way of your future. Right now, we all have one life. And if God or the universe or whatever you believe in woke you up, that means you can always replant somewhere else. So, let's get started. So I'm going to give you a word problem. I know, everybody's like, I can't do word problems. It's not so much the word problems, it's so much the breakdown. So I'm here to guide you through it. All right, so let me take my sad little tree example here. And then you see this. Right now, I want to know, how do you feel when you see this? Put it in the chat. Tell me how you feel. Initially, what are the feelings? And thank you so much for all the likes. Okay, thank you all for joining. Tell me how you feel. When you see this, what is your initial reaction? Okay, Jan, thank you so much. Confused, thank you for sharing. Okay, and I know you're not by yourself. Okay, how are you feeling? This is going to be a safe space. Okay, I don't need a whole lot of fluff. I just really want you to get it. So if we agree with Jen, you can put a thumbs up. You agree with her. You're feeling confused. You're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe even, thank you Shanice, giving up. Okay. Hello Brooklyn, how are you? You made it! Oh, good job, Brooklyn! Can we give a little celebration to Brooklyn Princess, please? She has worked really, really hard. Came in on a few lives, asked some questions, right? Reached out. Because that's how you do, guys. That's how we do. Go ahead and give Brooklyn some celebration. I would greatly appreciate that. Because if it wasn't Brooklyn, it's going to be someone else. So when you see this, how about where to start? Where do we start? A lot of people, when it comes to word problems, the very first thing they want to do is read the whole thing. No. No. You're wasting time. So one thing, I want to go down to this bullet. And let me raise it up a little bit, because there's actually two bullets, but let me raise it up. It says, write a system of two linear inequalities. Okay, so that gives me a hint. That means I need two inequalities, not an equation. So that means I'm going to be using that greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to symbols. So that's a clue. So to represent mark as time and earned constraints. Okay, define your variables clearly. All right. So once I realize that I have to do a system, so that means I need to know what the two restraints, and they told me. They told us that we're dealing with time and we're dealing with earning money. So if I want to, one of my inequalities is going to represent time. And one of my inequalities is going to represent the money. So this is when I have to skim. Right now, that first paragraph is not helping me. But this second one is. And it says, it takes Marcus 20 minutes, okay, to wash a car, 30 minutes to wash an SUV. All right, so I'm comparing a car to an SUV. So I need to have some variables. I'm going to say X is going to be the car, since that's the first thing that they talked about. And my Y is going to be the SUV. Now, if you want to see C and S, you can do that. The reason why I like to use Y's, especially when I see an S, because my 5s and my S's are very similar. I know that about myself, okay? So I'd rather just have it just as plain as day as X and Y, and then we can move from that. So there's something else. There's a total of 4 hours available to wash the vehicles this Saturday. So 20 minutes to wash a car, 30 minutes to wash an SUV, and then he has a total of 4 hours available to wash the vehicles. Just this alone What jumps at you? Just with that paragraph alone. Let me move down a little bit. Just with that paragraph alone, what's jumping at you? What's jumping at you? Not even looking at the whole thing. Let me actually cover this part up. What's jumping at you? 20 minutes to wash a car, 30 minutes to wash an SUV, a total of 4 hours. What's jumping at you? And if you're not sure, put a question mark in the chat. Okay? Joy's saying the total time. What about the total time, Joy? Needs to say he only has a total of 4 hours. Okay, Ness, thank you. Angel's saying 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and 4 hours. Thank you. Okay, the Joy saying 4 hours. Okay, the total time, Brenda saying that. Glenn is saying need to change hours to minutes. Thank you, Glenn. Okay, so this is what's happening. We were talking about minutes here. We're talking about minutes here. Then all of a sudden we jump to hours. We need to be consistent. And since they talked about minutes twice compared to the once for the hours, we need to change this 4 hours to minutes. How many minutes is 4 hours? I'm very detailed? Yes, of course. Okay. How many minutes? Okay, so there's 60 minutes in an hour, and we got 4 hours, so how many minutes is that? Okay, Brenda got 240. Apple user, where have you been? 240. Okay, Ness with 240. Thank you. Star, we got 240. Star 240. Joyce 240. Good job. Now, for those that weren't sure, we know that 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. And since we have 4 hours, that means we have to multiply the 60 times 4. That's where the 240 minutes come from. So this is going to represent my time. Okay, thank you guys. This is going to represent my time. So it says 20 minutes to wash a car, and car is represented by the letter X. So that means we got 20x, okay, and we have 30y, because it's 30 minutes for the SUV, and has a total of 4 hours. He only has a total of 4 hours. How would I represent that as an inequality? What am I going to put here for the inequality? Plus I need to change this to 240. What would be my inequality? Only has a total of 4 hours. Okay, it's not going to be equals. It's not going to be equals. Nope. He only has, he doesn't say a total, like that's it. He said he only has a total of 4 hours available. So that means he could wash the cars in 3 hours. He could wash the car in an hour, which I know that'd be kind of cray-cray. But he can't wash a car in 4 hours and 30 minutes. Less than. Okay? But could he do exactly 4 hours? Okay? The 240 is the number of minutes because it was 20 minutes here and 30 minutes here. So that's where the 240 is coming from. Not greater than or equal to. It's going to be less than or equal to. Because he has a total, he only has basically 4 hours. 4 hours, that's all he has for one day to wash cars. So he can't wash 5, like in 5 hours. His cutoff is 4 hours, that's it. But he can wash it in 3 hours if he hit his goal. He can wash it in, 2.5 hours. Okay? So that's why it's going to be less than or equal to the equivalent of the 240 minutes, which represents the 4 hours. Okay? And the reason why we know that there were inequalities, because what they said in the beginning, write a system of 2 linear inequalities. So that means I'm going to be looking at either less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Okay, so that means I'm using these symbols to represent. So that takes care of that second parenthesis. Now the other parenthesis is dealing with the other constraints, which is the money. So we say Marcus charges $10 per car and $15 per SUV. He needs to make at least $110 to stay on track for his bicycle saving goal. Okay. How would I represent that as an inequality? How would I represent that as an inequality? What would I write here for my inequality? For the money. I'll even put it in green. Okay. So if X is representing the cars, Y is representing the SUV, how would I translate what's going on down here to represent my inequality? And if you're not sure, put a question mark. I'd rather you say, I'm not sure, Audrey, instead of you leaving defeated. Because it's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. We are not going to fight. I do not hang out with people that like to fight. I'm the type of person that wants to fight. And if you fight for your friends when they get a little inebriated and and then all of a sudden they want to fight everybody at the bar, you're there. But why not fight for yourself? Come on, give it a try. If you're wrong, we make corrections. Okay? So user 64, you're saying 10x plus 15y greater than or equal to 110. All right. Joy, thank you for your honesty. Okay, Brenda, always put the numbers before the variables. Okay, so that would be a 10x and 15y. But what about the rest? Okay, do we agree with user 64? Or if we're not sure, put a question mark. Okay? Okay. I need one more person. One more brave soul. There we go, Glenn. Okay, you have 10x, you have 15y equals 110. Okay. So now let's take a look at it. So $10 per car. If the x is representing my car, yes, it is going to be 10 times x. And that's my plus. $15 per SUV. We're saying the SUVs are represented by y. So that will be our 15y. This is the part that gets a lot of people. At least. Okay? At least 110. Okay? At least 110. At least does not mean less than. Okay? When someone says, I want to get at least $100 today in order for me to get something to eat. So that means you're looking at $100 and more. Okay, so it's not going to be equals. It's actually going to be greater than. At least when you see it, it always looks at the opposite. So that would be greater than or equal to. Okay? At least is greater than or equal to. At most is less than or equal to. At most, that means that's the highest you will go. All right? So it's going to be more than or equal to 110. So just like how we did the system, one inequality represents the time in minutes. The other one represents our money in dollars. This is your system. Okay, this is your system. You tell what your variables are. What is your X and what is your Y representing? We also showed a little bit of conversion from hours to minutes. Okay? So now our system is complete. But there's a part B to this. So let me scroll down here so we can get the part B. So if Marcus washes 4 cars and 6 SUVs, will he meet his earning goal without running out of time? If Marcus washes 4 cars and 6 SUVs, will he meet his earning goals without running out of time? So let me show you. There's that system that we got. How would you approach this? How would you approach this? And I'll even copy these down here so it can all be in one spot. So just give me one moment. So if I have 20x plus 30y is less than or equal to 240. Then we had our 10x plus 15y is greater than or equal to 110. Okay, so let me put it all down here so it'll be easier for us. Okay, so this is the system that we got. So if Marcus washes 4 cars and 6 SUVs, will he make his earning goal without running out of time? You can do yes or no. Okay, so user 64 is saying plug in the 4 and the 6 into X and Y. Hey Lisa, how are you? Okay. Do we agree? And if you're not sure, put a question mark. Okay, if you're not sure, put a question mark. Hello. All right. So I have a feeling, and this is just me, that either people are like really doing a whole lot, like, oh, okay, I can multiply this bottom one by 2, maybe a -2 if I want to cancel out my y's, and then I multiply this, and then I notice, oh, wait, that's canceling out, and then, wait, how do I get, and now you're starting to get confused. Okay? Remember what each of these were representing. Okay? The top one was representing your time in minutes. Okay? This was your time. The second one was representing your money. look at what they're asking. So user 64 is not far, but don't go crazy plugging in to this top one, because this top one is giving us time. That's not what they're asking. We want to know, will he meet his earning goal? So I know I need to plug in the 4 and the 6, but not for both of them. I just need to plug it in for this bottom one, because I want to know if I put a 4 for the x and a 6 for the y, is it going to give me a true statement for that whole entire inequality? Okay? Your name is Marcus? I've been talking about you, Marcus. So did you reach your goal, Marcus? So you have your 10, your x, plus your 15, your y, and you want to see, is it going to give me a number that's going to be greater than or equal to 110? So I'll plug in the 4 here, and I'll plug in the 6 here. So 10 times 4, that gives us 40. 15 times 6, that gives us 90. Okay, you gotta lock in, all right? So now, 40 plus 90, that gives me 130. And 130 is greater than or equal to 110. Is this a true statement? Yes or no in the chat. Is this a true statement? Yes or no in the chat. Okay, so Adat says yes. Okay, beautiful princess. There's a lot of princesses out here. Good job. We're saying yes. Okay, conspiracy or Marcus. We're saying yes for namesake. All right. This is a true statement. 130 eats the bigger number. Yep, we can do that. So 130 is greater than or equal to 110. That is definitely a true statement. So since it's a true statement, yes, he did reach his goal. Okay. Notice how we took something that looked mad overwhelming. Okay? Multiples. Thank you so much for the hearts. Thank you so much for the roses. So this is what happens when you see word problems. One, don't read it like you're reading a novel. And you're like, okay, I got to remember who's done it. No, think of it almost like a detective. I know. But you have to figure out, what are the clues. One, what am I looking for? Boom. I'm looking for A. First, I need a system of equation. Okay, so system of equations, since they say 2 linear inequalities, that means I'm looking for 2 things. And what are those 2 things? Time and earnings. So we had to figure out our time. I didn't read all of this. I didn't know what he was doing. So, Marcus, I guess you're running a neighborhood car wash over the weekend to save up for a new bike. How's that new bike? But you're done on that? Okay, keep pushing, Lisa. Keep pushing, I know. I know it's tough. But this is what we do. And this is how I break a lot of things down, step by step. And I know it's annoying for some people, because some people are like, oh yeah, this is great. Okay? But this is why. And I mean, even Angel was in here because he bought one of my books, and some other people bought my books as well. This is why I developed Algebra at Your Pace. It's not just a regular old notebook and just like a whole bunch of problems. What happens is you get a QR code, you scan that QR code, and then what happens, you see me breaking down concepts. Okay? So example, here's a QR code, you scan that, I give you some helpful hints, and then you write down the notes. So after you write down the notes, I give you some practice problems. And I give you room for you to write down those practice problems as well as an exit ticket. So as you're going through everything step by step, you're also given some extra practice problems towards the end of that set. So now you can practice up step by step on how to do certain items to make sure that you understand it. And of course the answer key is on the back. All right? So not only fractions, we got decimals, we have exponents, and then we also ends up with the square roots. At the end of every book, you have the end of chapter quiz. So to make sure you solidify everything that you learned inside this volume. So once you do all that, then I give you some support. If you don't remember the rules of integers, I have that listed in the back and color coded. All right, same thing with decimal operations as well as fraction operations, because there's certain things that you're not going to remember. And the same as how to convert from a percent to a decimal to a fraction, all of that. And then everything else, order of operation, and factors, if you need to do factoring. This is something that we were kind of working on today. In order for you to do word problems, you have to understand that certain words mean certain phrases. Okay? So that's going to be the next thing I'm going to talk to you really about. Like how to convert certain expressions verbally to an algebraic expression. Okay? And then again, I have like flashcards in the back. So let me give you a couple examples, and then we're going to skedaddle because I have to tutor. All right, so let's see. Here's one. How do you convert the product of two different numbers? How do I say that? The product of two different numbers. Okay, how would you write that as an algebraic expression? Okay, what do you think? The product of two different numbers. So we don't know what the numbers are. Hi MJ, how are you? So the product of two different numbers. What does product mean? Is that what's tripping you up? What does product mean? And if you're not sure, put a question mark in the chat. That tells me I might need to explain something a little bit more in detail. That's the only way we gotta communicate. Okay? Product means X. What do you mean, Brenda? Product means X. Multiply? Okay. Multiple? Okay, so we need to multiply. Yes. Okay. So product, that's multiplication of two different numbers. We don't know what those two numbers are. So what can we use in place to represent those two numbers? How about two variables? So if we have two variables, the product of two different numbers, n, m. This means n times m. Okay, gotcha. All right, so when you're talking about the product of two different numbers, the numbers could be anything. So I can have n represent any number. I can have it represent 7, and I can have m represent 8. Okay, so 7 times 8, there you go, with my 56. All right, let's try another one. The quotient of 2 and a number. The quotient of 2 and a number. What do you think? Put it in the chat. The quotient of 2 and a number. These are the things that we need to do in order to get ourselves confident with word problems. Certain words have certain operations. Some are adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. What do you think? What does quotient mean? Okay. What does quotient mean? Think. So what is quotient? What does quotient mean? If you could take a guess, what do you think? Okay. So I'm proud of the ones that are sticking to it. If you don't know, put a question mark. Okay, if you don't know, put a question mark. Hey, Prince Charles is here. Trying to learn some math. Don't you have the monarch to do? All right. Okay. Quotient, that's division. So division of 2 and a number. So when you're dividing 2 and a number. Okay? Really emphasize this. Okay, we got one more. This one's going to be the sum of twice a number and 8. The sum of twice a number and 8. Okay, Shanice, thank you. Okay, so divide. So you're saying add. Okay. Yep, addition is in there. What else is in there? There's another operation that's sneakily in there. Okay, there's another one. So there is addition. And addition came from that word sum. So it says the sum of. That means I'm adding two things. Okay, so for the sum of, I'm adding two things. Okay, not really division, but there's multiplying. There you go. There's multiplication. What are we multiplying? Twice a number. So how would I represent twice a number? So we know the sum of, so we're adding two things. We're adding twice a number, and we're adding 8. How would I represent twice a number? How would that look? Twice a number. Okay, Winter. Hey, Winter. How's the books going for you? So Winter's saying 2x. All right, Joy is saying 2. Okay, so twice a number. Yep, Forever 23 is saying 2x. So when you're twice, you're multiplying by 2, and then you're using whatever variable to represent your x. For my cards, I represent 2n. Okay, super helpful. Oh, good. Good. All right. So 2x is not going to be double x. It's going to be 2 times that x. So x times x, that's going to be x squared. Okay, we're not talking squared, we're talking twice. So when you're twice, you're multiplying by 2. Okay? All right. So this is how I break things down. These are some of the resources that I make up to help, especially with word problems. Okay, how I break a lot of these concepts down, even the word problems, is to know which words are actually hitting on which operation. So once you kind of get to it, because it is pointless for me to say, oh, you don't like word problems? Okay, here's a whole stack of word problems. If you don't know where to start, that's not going to help you, and you're going to continue getting the same results. So if you keep doing what you're currently doing, you're going to keep getting the same results. So let's change it up. Okay? So if you're interested, okay, to learn a little bit more about algebra at your pace, some of my systems, because I go from the very beginning all the way and including probability, some statistics, we're looking at geometry, we're looking at Pythagorean's theorem, we have radical equation, rational equation, basically all the main components that you will find in the GED, the ASVAB, and the TEAS test, as well as the ACCUPLACER. So if you are interested to learn more about these, go ahead and DM me. Okay, what I would love for you to DM me is tell me which test that you're planning for. Maybe it's helping your younger students or children with algebra. Maybe they're going into high school math next year and you're a little concerned. All right, put that into my DMs. Okay, just go ahead and click my profile pic from the live. It should be up here somewhere. And then send me a message, okay? And I will definitely give you guys a message back this evening. All right, my bad. Okay, problems with word problems. Yep, and most people do. It's all because they don't understand which words go with which operations and what exactly they're looking for. And the reason why, because a lot of this foundational stuff is missing. That's why. And you think COVID made it worse? Yes, it did. A lot of our students nowadays and adults have a lot of gaps, and we're trying as hard as I can to help fill them. All right? Okay, so make sure you guys DM me. Tell me which test are you looking at, and then also what are you doing to prepare for it? Okay, which test and what are you guys doing to prepare for it? Okay, yep, exactly. All right, everyone. So, going to wrap up because I'm going to have a late night. I usually don't come here on Wednesdays, but this is my last week of finals for a lot of kids. So, hopefully, I will be back on normal almost every day at 7 p.m. All right, no problem. Okay, which you need to pursue your bachelor program? Yes, Joy. So if you guys need any assistance to help you with those exams, to help you with the algebra, to help refresh your memory, make sure you DM me because I do have some systems, I do have some deals, and I do have some resources that can really help you guys out. All right, I have to get going, but I will see you tomorrow here at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, everyone, have a great